distinguished chair, distinguished delegates. I'm Femi Mimiko. I'm a professor of political science at the Obafemi Awolowo University. I'm currently Vice Chancellor at Adekunle Ajayi University. I'm a delegate from Ondo State. I'd like to join my voice with those who spoke before me to commend Mr. President. I must say that that was a good speech, well written, and confidently delivered. I'd like to commend Mr. President on at least 3 grounds, and I talk about the exercise of courage in this instance. The fact that he was able to convoke this conference in spite of established opposition, I think deserves to be commended. I also noticed that the broadness of the platform that we have here is unprecedented in the annals of conferences in Nigeria. Mr. President deserves to be commended on that. That he also took on the critical issues in his speech, issues that ordinarily people will want to run away from, I also believe deserve some commendation. On page 5, Mr. President highlighted what for him will constitute the objectives of this conference. He spoke about the need to strengthen national unity, to consolidate democratic governance, to lay a more stronger foundation for faster development, and to build a more inclusive national consensus. He admonished us to look at the challenges confronting the nation and to work towards the creation of a more united, stronger, indivisible, and prosperous Nigeria. For me, Mr. Chair, I want to say that beautiful as these objectives are, they are objectives that cannot be accomplished given the present constitutional framework that we have in Nigeria. The Nigeria 1999 Constitution has just consummated unitarism with the military in place several years ago. And any attempt to run a plural, heterogeneous entity on the crutches of a unitary constitution will certainly not work. It does not matter how much time we spend, how much attempt we try to do to paper it over. Basically, the type of constitution that we have is not appropriate for a plural setting that we have in Nigeria. The second reason why this conference is key, Mr. Chair, is that there's so much lopsidedness in Nigeria that we have spoken of in different dimensions. We have a situation in which there's inequality, broadly speaking. I noticed those of my colleagues who spoke about class analysis. For me, when you try to grasp class analysis on the realities of Nigeria, you stretch it thin. Why, for instance, does it seem that access to power cohere with region where you come from? Why is it that privileges cohere with parts of the country where you come from? Is it in the regime of import licensing? Is it in the allocation of local governments? Is it in the creation of states? Is it where everywhere you look at, there seems to be conjunction between where you come from and privileges. And these cannot make well for a good federal republic. My recommendation is that we must be courageous enough to ask the critical questions and provide the critical answers. I think it was the president of Harvard University that said a few years ago. He said 100 years ago, my university was voted the best in the world. This year, my university is also voted the best in the world. People should ask me why and how we did it. We must ask ourselves the question why we have where we are today in Nigeria. We must have a full-fledged federal republic. If we don't have that, we'll just be making these rounds without getting the result. Finally, Mr. President, on the issue of security, I have noticed that in this country, those of us that are lawful are at a disadvantage. Apart from the weapons that you have in the hands of security forces, the preponderance of weapons out there are in the hands of criminals and people that are lawless. I therefore am going to recommend and submit a motion at the nick of time that we should allow the right to bear and keep arms to be enshrined in our constitution. I believe it will further the essence of freedom and the essence of security. Once again, I thank you, distinguished delegates, for listening to me. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Professor Mimiko.